recording is begun, and over to you, Luciano.
Okay, thank you. I'm very happy to start with this, let's say, this meeting with you. And my idea when I spoke with Ashwarya and Rajat, the idea was to share some information about creative leadership, and at the same time to, let's say, to involve you in a way that could be useful. So any question you have, please feel free to raise your hand or send me a chat, and I'll try to integrate, let's say, your question into the topic. I prepared some slides just because I think when we talk about creativity and creative leadership, there are so many things to say that maybe I will be very quick in using some slides. So you have the chance maybe to go back and to read it, okay? So as I was introduced, I studied in Buffalo, which is the International Center for Studies in Creativity. And I arrived in Buffalo after 24 years working for multinational companies. So, and was a very creative process for me to go there, because I learned what was my mission, my new vision. And since 2008, I've been working now as a facilitator of creative processes and as a, let's say, coach, as I was said before. So let me ask you something about yourself. The idea of today, but let me say something before. Today, my goal is to share some thoughts that I'd like to start with Albert Einstein. And these are, let's say, sentences or quotes that you know for sure. But I think this is very important when we approach any change and any creative process. So I'll try to, that's the agenda. My idea is to share with you some thoughts about creativity, what creative leadership is, understanding what we can do with the creative leadership in our life, and have some conversation with you, maybe some questions. Are you okay with that? This is yes. This is
yes.
no.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Let's start with a little game. I'd like you to. Do you have some or maybe just your mind? I don't need to check. I mean, it's just for you. I'd like to invite you to write it down, or just to think about 5 words that come to mind when you think about creativity. You have 30 seconds. Just 5 words, whatever it is. When you think the word creativity, what comes to mind? Okay, do you have those words? Okay, now the challenge is for you is try to write it down or record, whatever it is, your definition of creativity without using those 5 words. So write it down a sentence to define what creativity is for you without using these 5 words.
I'm sorry, Luciana, can you repeat that, please?
Yes. Do you have those 5 words? Did you get the part of the 5 words? No, maybe no. Okay. What I ask is write it down. Think about the 5 words that you come to mind when you think about creativity.
Correct.
Then, like when you play with the taboo, you are not allowed to use those words to write down your definition of creativity. Okay, somebody wrote, creativity is about finding new solutions to existing or new problems. Okay, any other definition somebody want to share? You can say, or you can write it down in the chat, up to you. I'm not asking to write everything in.
Hi.
Okay, who is going?
Yes,
Yeah, this is Dr. Sunita Tank. I wrote creativity to be an experience to be implemented again and again.
Okay,
Yeah.
another one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah.
I'm reading. Creativity is about.
This is Deepak here. So what I have said is, what I thought creativity is something out of box, which is refreshing, rejuvenation. And what I have written is, it is a process to look at solution or way forward or new ideas which are non-linear and atypical.
Okay, very good. I'm reading. While I'm listening, I'm also reading. So I'm not repeating as a parrot. So if you have access to the chat, you can read as well. And there are very other interesting definitions. Are there any other definition that you want to share before we move on?
Petra has written down
Okay.
a platform and environment to be who you are and share it, which will take it to the next level of openness.
Openness. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for supporting. Okay. Very good. Now, I want to share with you just a definition that we are going to use today, that we use at the International Center for Studying Creativity. Creativity is something that is related to novelty and utility. So everything could be, and you mentioned a lot, but when we talk about creativity and creative leadership, we want to refer the production of something that is new and at the same time that serves to a clear purpose. Okay, but also when we talk about creativity, there are some myths and some, let's say, facts that are very interesting. So I just selected a few of them. So based on the experience we have with many, let's say, leaders, with many corporations, when we talk with them about creativity, some of them, they say, okay, I know, but creativity is just for, let's say, for special people, for genius. You are creative or you are not. It's a question of talent. Others say, okay, of course, children more talent and more creative than others. Or creativity is something that we can't teach, we can't learn. Let's say, you're born with creativity. And also, when we talk about creativity, is mainly associated with originality and art. But then, let's say, if we do some research, there are some interesting facts about what is a myth and what is, let's say, a fact about creativity. So let me say that, for example, while it's true that there are some genius, Picasso, Da Vinci, or Mozart, or other genius people, it's also true that, and this is thanks to Malcolm Gladwell, that were talking about the 10 years rule. If we practice for 10 years something, maybe we don't become a genius, but we become more creative for sure. So hard work is very important when we talk about creativity. And also creativity is not, let's say, necessarily linked with originality on the strange, let's say, habits or behaviors. So originality is important, but creativity for us, as we said before, is in the intersection between novelty and usefulness. Also, and that's why we're here today, and also the credo of the International Center for Studying Creativity. Creativity is something that can be learned in a way that the more you practice, the more you train yourself, the more you can, let's say, increase the opportunity to be more creative. And the main difference we have with children is when I ask children to make, let's say, to draw something, for example, anything, a bicycle, a mountain, they start doing it. When I ask the same thing to others, they start asking questions. What should I do? What should I draw? How big? How little? So it's difficult, let's say, to stop our internal judgment. And of course, this is the result of our culture, but at the same time also some blocks that we have in our environment. Could be the school, could be the organization, whatever it is. Now that, let's say, I share this with you, first of all, if anytime you have questions, please ask and interrupt me whenever you want. Why I'm sharing with you these, let's say, few words about the creativity? Because when we talk about creative leadership, we need to refer to this common definition of novelty and the use and utility. So when we talk about creative leadership, we could say it's the answer. How do we approach a challenge? So if I ask you, how do you mainly approach a challenge? What comes to mind? Think about, for example, I have just a problem with my fixed line with the phone. Maybe today, maybe someone of you has other different challenges. Somebody traffic jam, somebody, I don't know. But think about, how do you generally approach any kind of challenge? The simple one and the biggest one. Think about just for 30 seconds. If you want to share something, feel free, just 2-3 people, or write it down or by microphone, up to you. How do you generally approach your challenge or the challenge you have?
We define the challenge, then we look at the generate alternatives, solutions, evaluate solutions.
Okay.
And pick up the best practical solution. That's a standard approach.
That's okay, cool. What else? I see, understand the real problem, analyze the root cause, and find possible options. Somebody said, look at the why, then how. Create all possible options to resolve and evaluate. Anything else? Okay. Sometimes when we approach a challenge, we have someone that, let's say, I'm in the center of the slide. Sometimes it's me. It depends on which kind of challenge I have to face. Sometimes I feel a superhero. Other times I feel more conscious of what I'm doing. It really depends on the kind of challenge. And what you just said, just in a different way, but you said follow a process that allow me to move from a challenge to a solution that is very useful for me. So it's very interesting that we all approach a challenge in a way that we are looking for a solution. So and this is linked with leadership, because talking about creative leadership for sure link towards creativity and leadership. We have just shared what we meant by creativity, but when we talk about creative leadership, the situation is a little bit more complex. In fact, I'm not going to explain all these creative change model, but I want just to offer you, let's say, some thoughts. The first one is that there is an interaction between people, process, product, and the climate, and to produce a change. And when we talk about people and processes, we are saying, without saying, that this is let's say, a question of leadership. How leaders approach people, processes, and environment create, let's say, a different mindset to themselves and to others. So in other words, every time we create some rules or some processes, we are creating spaces for developing new products, and at the same time, or services as well. And at the same time, how this process and this product are bought by the market. So what I'm trying to say is, when we talk about creativity, it's really, really crucial to talk about leadership, because leadership, if you think about people you know, maybe you as a leader, sometimes we all are in the position to solve the problem or the challenge at our best. There are other times where we're struggling, or it's very difficult for us to find the best solution. All we know that the world is changing faster and faster than ever. And also, we know that we are living in, let's say, in a time where people pretend to be the best leader, even though sometimes they do not have the competencies to do that. It's not me saying that, but there are several research on that. One, above others, is that one run by IBM in 2011, if I'm not wrong, or 10 maybe. They were interviewing, let's say, 1,543 CEO in the world, and all these CEO were saying, we are leading companies, we are leading global organizations, and we don't know exactly where we are going, because we know that things are going very faster. But we feel that ourselves and our people do not have the right competencies that to surf into this ocean, they said. So they came out with a clear competency to be developed, and this competency is creativity. So for the first time in the last 10 years, IBM was very clear, thanks to this research, saying everyone needs to develop creativity as a key or crucial competency for, let's say, become a better leader, a different leader. So what does it mean that for us? Because it's very, very difficult, let's say, we all know that we manage people or we work with people, and we know that let's say, the essential part of any process, of any change, are people. But how difficult it is to involve people, and how difficult it is to lead people when you are struggling with something. So what came very clear from that research is that developing creative thinking is something that is crucial for leadership today. And when we talk about creative leadership or creative thinking, I like to use the metaphor of the auto racing, the Formula One or other one. And it's like when everyone, especially men, loves to drive maybe fast car. In this case, maybe this is one of this car. But at the same time, desiring to drive this car, it doesn't mean that it's that simple. So it's a question of cognitive process, as a creative process is, and at the same time, it's a question of practice. Because otherwise, when you enter into a Formula One car, you feel a little bit scared. you have all this power in front of you, these commands, and you don't know what to do. Or if you know, maybe you are not the competency to do it at the best. So it's a question of in what way we can practice and to improve the way we are creative. Am I clear so far? Any questions? I'm asking this because now yes.
I have a question. Hi. The question is regarding the way creative thinking is viewed or understood is so different by each individual. So even before moving to how one can develop creative thinking, the understanding around it itself is so different. So it's all about connecting. So if you could throw some light around that, that would be helpful.
Okay, I will. And we start with an exercise immediately. Are you ready for a journey into the space? Yes. Okay. What you need now is again a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. Fasten your seatbelt. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Imagine now that we are landing into this unknown planet. We still are inside our, let's say, airplane or whatever it is. And outside our window, we glimpse someone. So we are just watching in our window inside the plane, and we notice that someone is outside. So what I'm asking you to do now is to draw this person or this, let's say, living being outside, whatever it is. Try to represent this being in a way that it's very simple for you. So you need a piece of paper, you need a pen, a pencil, and try to make a drawing. I do my best. I'm not looking for Picasso, that's mine, that's not worry. Done? Okay, I have a question for you. How many of you have designed this beautiful, I don't know, person or whatever it is, with the eyes and ears? Eyes and ears. How many of you? Can you raise your hand or maybe say, I did something? Okay, two, somebody's writing. Okay. Okay, I did. Okay. How many? Okay. Let's do a little bit more difficult. How many of you represent these, let's say, creature with legs on or arms?
So I created Luciano legs and arms, but my legs and arms are not the same number as a normal human being.
Okay, okay. But I'm sorry, also for you, the game ends here.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, who designed something that without eyes, without ears, without legs, without mouth, without fingers, without hands? Somebody? Yadu.
Yes, I did, and it was just a blurb.
Okay, what can we learn from this exercise?
Everybody's imagination is different.
Okay, what else?
I think one learning is that we imagine based on what we have seen or experienced in past.
Okay, I take the two of you for the moment. That's the difference between creative thinking and let's say normal thinking. We call it reproductive thinking is what we do, and it's very important to use reproductive thinking. Imagine when you drive a car, you just open the car, you just jump, you drive. You don't think every time, what should I do? I need a key, I need to open the door, I need to insert the key. You just open and you go. But when we think about creative thinking, we need to approach creativity in a different way. So reproductive thinking is very useful, but it's something that offers us something that we already knew, but in a